This has to be probably the most Sony-esque trailer that we've ever seen, and the fact that they've completely disregarded continuity that they themselves set up. Everything they set up with the post-credit scene for Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and Spider-Man No Way Home is seemingly kind of undone with this trailer. Now, there is a lot to talk about in this trailer, including Avengers Secret Wars, Peter Parker in this universe, and Spider-Man, the new villains, Toxin, Scream, the Jury, the Clintar Beasts, and the secret plot that we believe is going to happen that Sony did not show us at all in this trailer. And despite some continuity issues and Sony decisions, the trailer actually does look good, and I am excited for this movie, so let me know if you're excited for the last Venom film in the comments down below. Now, is this the last solo Venom film? Yes, I believe that is what is happening here. That is why they're calling it The Last Dance. However, I don't believe that this is the last time that we'll see Tom Hardy as Venom. I do believe that we'll see him return as Eddie Brock with the Venom symbiote in Avengers Secret Wars, hopefully at least. There is a possibility that they could take him to the MCU. There's a lot of interesting multiverse stuff happening in this trailer, or at least it seems like they're trying to make you believe that there is multiverse stuff happening. And it is rather confusing, so let's go ahead and just address this one specific scene that everybody is having questions about right now, the scene where Chiwetel Ejiofor's character, Orwell Taylor, is at the bar that we saw Venom and Eddie Brock in the post-credit scene for Spider-Man No Way Home, which was supposed to be in the Earth 616 main Marvel Universe timeline. In the post-credit scene for Spider-Man No Way Home, we saw them there at the bar. The Venom Let There Be Carnage post-credit scene made it very clear that they were now in the MCU. On the TV, we saw Tom Holland's Peter Parker dressed as Spider-Man right when they revealed who he was on the TV. That was the Let There Be Carnage post-credit scene, and then of course in Spider-Man No Way Home, they showed us still in the MCU at this bar talking with the same bartender that is shown in this scene, but then of course they would go on to piss everybody off by taking Venom out of the MCU and actually bringing him back to the Sony Spider-Man universe, but leaving a piece of the Venom symbiote behind. So in this scene right here, it looks like Orwell Taylor has captured the Venom symbiote that was left on the bar. The reason it's so confusing is because this is all seemingly taking place in the same universe, in the Sony Spider-Man universe, when we know that that wasn't originally, at least, the case. The main Sony Venom universe was supposed to be different than that post-credit scene universe in Spider-Man No Way Home and Let There Be Carnage. That was supposed to be the MCU. So there are a few different things that could be happening right here. One is that somehow the government and Orwell Taylor and whatever equipment that he has, they have the ability to multiverse travel. I don't think this is what's happening here. However, it still is a possibility. Now, another thing that people are saying is that this could actually be the same bar just in our universe, but that doesn't really answer the question of how the symbiote, a piece of it, got left behind, because they were clearly in a different universe at the bar in the other universe. So even if this was a version of this bar in the Sony universe, the symbiote shouldn't be there because they weren't at this specific bar, they were at a different one. Again, the Venom Let There Be Carnage post-credit scene made it very clear that they went to the MCU and they did not stay in the Sony universe. So that kind of leads us to what probably is, unfortunately, happening. They are kind of disregarding what they set up before. And they're basically seemingly going to retcon what happened. Instead of saying, oh, they went over into the MCU, no, that wasn't the case. They're going to act like everything that happened in those post-credit scenes didn't actually happen, and that Venom has been in our universe the entire time. At least that's what this trailer is seemingly setting up. Because otherwise, Orwell Taylor, one of the villains of the movie, should have multiverse travel equipment, which I don't think is going to happen in this. Plus, it doesn't actually make sense for the story of The Last Dance. It wouldn't make sense for Orwell Taylor to go to a different universe, then go back to his and want to kill all the symbiotes. There are bigger problems when you multiverse travel than just fighting a symbiote monster. So honestly, the most likely thing that is happening here is they are simply ignoring continuity, and they're basically going to say they didn't go to another universe, and that symbiote that was left behind was not left in the MCU, but in fact was left in the Sony universe at the bar, which they are now going to say is not in the MCU, but in the Sony universe. They also have Rhys Ifans in this trailer, who of course played the Lizard. That's another kind of multiverse thing that they have going on here that just kind of doesn't make sense, and Sony knows what they're doing. They know if we see this actor who played the Lizard, we're going to automatically think, multiverse. But again, I don't think there's too much multiverse stuff happening in this film, maybe in the post-credit scene, but it's definitely not going to be a main point of this film. And speaking of the main point, it does kind of seem like they are leading us well away from what the main point of this movie is actually going to be. At this point, we've actually heard two different plot leaks, plot synopsis, whatever you want to call them, that say that a young Peter Parker is going to be in the movie, a 10-year-old Peter Parker actually. Chris from 3C Films got a plot leak from what was supposed to be a survey for the movie for Venom 3, and he told us what he saw on it, and it lined up with the previous plot leak that we had heard a while ago. And it tells us that Venom, using the hive mind, figures out that a Spider-Man is going to be kind of the end of Venom and Eddie, so they have to go and they have to kill Peter Parker. The problem is, when they find him, he is only a 10-year-old boy, and he's not Spider-Man yet. So they go on and they try to expose him to a bunch of different spiders, trying to give him his powers, but what ends up happening is he ends up getting bit and has an allergic reaction to one of the spiders, and Eddie and Venom end up taking him to the ER. And for the rest of the film, they end up actually having to try and protect him. Because we're going to have really three villains in this film whose all objective is to basically eliminate Venom and other symbiotes as well. All of them pretty much have a different reason for wanting to eliminate them. So we have Detective Mulligan, who was in Venom Let There Be Carnage. At the end of Venom Let There Be Carnage, we saw that he did get a symbiote bonded with him. That's going to be Toxin. And Detective Mulligan, seeing everything that Carnage did, wants to kill all of the symbiotes because he believes all of the symbiotes are basically alien monsters who are bad. And according to the plot leak that's been going around, he also views Spider-Man as one of these monsters as well, not knowing his story, getting bit by a radioactive spider, and kind of using the hive mind that Toxin has, he realizes that Peter Parker will go on to become Spider-Man, so he wants to kill Peter Parker as well, which is why Venom and Eddie have to protect him. Then we have Orwell Taylor and the jury. In the comics, Orwell Taylor has a son who ends up being killed by Venom. So he gathers some of his son's old military buddies and he forms the jury. And he sets out to kill Venom and the symbiotes as well. That's basically what is going to happen in Venom The Last Dance, except we've heard that instead of his son being killed by Venom, he was actually killed by Carnage. So they'll go back to Venom Let There Be Carnage and say, my son was killed then, so now Carnage is gone, we have to kill the other beasts that are left. So that's Orwell Taylor and the jury's agenda behind wanting to kill Venom and other symbiotes as well, and that's also why Mulligan wants to kill Venom and a 10-year-old boy Peter Parker. Now it does look like they are going to end up working together, but in the comics, Toxin actually ends up being a good person, more of like an anti-hero. He's not a villain. In fact, Toxin goes on to work with Spider-Man. So it's very clear that the host of whoever the symbiotes attached with do affect the symbiotes themselves. Like Venom attached to Eddie Brock, who is kind of a good person, you know, for the most part. And Toxin attaches to Detective Mulligan, who for the most part is a good person as well. So it seems in attaching to good-hearted people, the symbiotes themselves become kind of good-hearted. So although it does seem like Toxin / Mulligan are going to team up with Orwell Taylor and the jury, I'm pretty sure that he might be good by the end of the movie, just because that is what happens in the comics. Toxin isn't bad, he's good. Now it does seem like there is going to be another symbiote in this film, and that is Patricia / Scream, who is going to be played by Juno Temple that we see in this trailer. In the comics, Patricia Robertson does work for the US Army, so it looks like she might be working with Orwell Taylor, kind of tracking down symbiotes until eventually a symbiote will bond with her and she'll become Scream. It's unclear if at that point in time she is actually going to be a villain of the movie, or maybe she will join forces with Venom to try and defeat the Hive. Venom states that his home is coming for them, and we hear a lot of lingo during this trailer about it being time, like their time has come and they could die. But what I really think Venom is referring to here is it's finally time for them to split. Venom will have to leave Eddie Brock in order to not only protect him, but protect Earth as well, because his people, the Clintar, they're going to come and they're going to destroy Earth in search for Venom and the other symbiotes. We even hear Mulligan / Toxin say, as long as Venom lives, everyone, everything will end. And this is most likely because he has Toxin inside of him. He has the symbiote, which can access the hive mind, so he can access the mind of the other symbiotes coming to get Venom. So he knows they're in trouble. He knows that an army of symbiotes is coming, which is why Orwell knows as well, because Patrick Mulligan is telling them what he sees through the Toxin symbiote. So that's why throughout this entire trailer, we see Orwell Taylor and what appears to be army soldiers, which is the jury, chasing after Venom. Not only do they want to simply kill all symbiotes, kill all monsters because of his personal grudge because Carnage killed his son, but they also want to kill them so the other symbiotes don't come and destroy their world. And we're led to believe that that is seemingly most of the main plot of Venom: The Last Dance, but there is, like I mentioned, the report that we are going to have a young Peter Parker in this film, and there's even a scene in this trailer where we do see a very young boy who does seemingly appear to be around 10 years old. And it does even seem like Eddie is kind of protecting this child because we see him and some other people on this sort of tower, and we see some of them fall off. Eddie falls off with them, so we know that the Venom symbiote is going to end up saving all of them. This could be the 10-year-old Peter Parker that the plot leaks are talking about. So if this is true, in which it does seem like it is, what is the future of Sony's Spider-Man universe and also Venom? Well, if they're introducing a new Peter Parker and he's only 10 years old, that leads me to believe that they are simply going to have a new universe with a new Spider-Man, this young kid, when he grows up a little bit at least, and they're going to essentially kind of reboot the Sony Spider-Man universe, and they're going to have Venom probably go to the MCU, at least just for Secret Wars. Because Tom Hardy did state in the past that if Venom, the movie franchise, was in the Olympics, then the gold medal would be for Spider-Man and Venom to be together. Now, we obviously can't get that out of a 10-year-old Peter Parker who is not Spider-Man yet, but we could get that if Venom went to the MCU. And since we're about to go into Avengers Secret Wars, it would make sense that they would throw Tom Hardy's Venom into the mix. We're getting the old Fox X-Men, some of the old Fantastic Four. Why not have Tom Hardy's Venom? Plus, they have already teased us with that before. It seems like they have completely disregarded what they've teased us with before, Venom going over to the MCU and then going back and leaving the symbiote behind in the MCU. It seems like that is not the case anymore. But what that tells us is that they clearly did have a plan for Tom Hardy's Venom to be in the MCU at some point in time. Perhaps they have changed their plans, which is why they have changed it here. But now their plan is to have Tom Hardy's Venom to appear in Secret Wars. I hope that is the case. That's what I'm thinking is happening here, and that's why they kind of changed the continuity here. But go ahead and let me know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. Did you like the trailer? Did you not like it? Are you excited? Are you not? Let us know all of your thoughts in the comments. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to stay up to date on the MCU and, of course, Venom and the Venomverse. You can find links to our socials and the giveaway info in the pinned comment down below. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.